To those of you who remember, there was a grand song called Meatloaf Bat Out of Hell. So I wanted to tell you a story about a bat out of hell in Texas, which, coming from California, is actually a very interesting way to phrase it. Uh, Long story short, I wanted to tell you a story about a bat that cost me 1 year's worth of rent, cost me the tenancy of my tenants, and, well, substantial financial investment and loss of headache. My name is Alexey. I'm a real estate investor. I've been doing it for 20 years, and we are starting a series of horror stories for would-be investors and for those who want to share their experience. Please post in the comments if you have stories you would want to share, maybe talk about, and you feel like there are people who would want to listen. So, I had a house in northern Houston area in Texas, where my tenants were paying about $1,800 a month in rent, which results in a little less than $22,000 a year of income. And my expenses, as you know, Texas loves real estate investors, and they charge the highest or one of the highest property taxes rates in the nation at about 3.5%. My annual taxes were about $7,000, and management fee was about $2,000. So all in all, I was netting. My net income was about $12,000 on a house that's worth $220,000, which in return gave me about 5.5% ROI. Whether it's a lot or not so much, it's up to you to decide, but the house was paid off. I did not have a mortgage, and I was getting just 5.5%. So it was time to sell it, actually. It was time to get rid of the house. I was just looking for something nice to exchange into. So we had a call from the tenants saying, hey, you know what? There is a weird smell in the house, and we hear scratching in the middle of the night. During the day, there is some activity behind the walls. We get a pest control guy over there. He walks around the house. He sees some points of access and tells us we have a bat infestation. Bats out of hell from all the homes in all the cities, on all the streets. They chose the one I own, and they decided to stay there. What does pest control do? Well, they close all the entry points, and they say, well, we did the treatment, we caught this bat, that's enough, no more, your tenants should be happy. A couple months go by, our tenants call us and say, hey, the smell is terrible, we can't stay anymore, we're breaking the lease, we're leaving, screw you, and we will consider whether we want to sue you or not. They leave, we get the pest control in again with more detailed look. They go up into the attic, they go on the roof, and they notice that there is a large satellite dish that maybe the wind blew, maybe something happened, and it leaned and made a hole with one of the mounting posts that it was secured on inside the roof. So there is a hole in the shingles the size of this book, and all of the local bats used this hole to go inside the attic. From the attic, they made their way down inside the walls, and they just had a blast. So we have tens, maybe hundreds of bats. They're little baby bats. They're making families. They have this commune over there. So it's basically socialism in Texas. They live rent-free, and they were drinking my blood, figuratively. We patched up the roof. Little hole like this, not a big deal. Removed some sheetrock, found all the bats, closed all the entry points, and said, okay, well, we're done. No more bats. We can re-rent the house now. A couple months later, we get a letter from the HOA. As it turns out, to those of you who, by the way, think, Alexey, you should only invest in red states. We don't want to deal with blue states with all the rent control and all that. Only Texas and Florida will save us. Here is the reality of owning a house in Texas. They have a thing called deed restriction. What is deed restriction, you may ask? Well, deed restriction is basically a way to self-govern. If you don't have city, if you don't have county that comes in with inspectors and enforces the rules, you have people who bundle together into a community and they enforce rules on each other. So there is a stranger driving by your house every day, making sure you removed your trash cans on time, your kids are not playing unsafe, you don't wash your car with an improper hose, you don't paint your exterior with unapproved color, you don't have very colorful window covering, and one of the many restrictions we have to follow is the color of the roof. As it turns out, you can't just replace a few broken shingles and patch them up. That patch has to be the exact same color as the rest of the roof. As you can imagine, on a 20-year-old house, the roof burned down a little bit because, sun, Texas, the whole thing. That old material they use is out of stock. You can't find it anymore. So the roof was gray and our patch was like darker gray. The shades almost indistinguishable unless you're a specialized eye trained to catch everything that stands out. Long story short, they forced us to replace the entire roof. So, coming back to the original bat of the hell out of hell story. A little problem with a little bat turned out into a whole bat family coming in to stay with us. We had to replace the roof, lose the tenants. We lost 3 months worth of rent. We lost, money we spent on all the fumigation thing and catching bats and taking them elsewhere. All in all, I lost a little over the annual rent that that house could have generated. What's the moral of the story? Could I have done something different to prevent it? Well, I asked for a licensed pest control company to come out and look for access points. And normally, on a 2-story home, it's very hard, unless you're a deed restriction specialist, to see what's going on the attic and to notice that satellite dish, which was obviously obsolete and nobody was using it, actually made that little dent in the roof, dent large enough for bats to get in. People do annual inspections, people do semi-annual inspections, but even on inspection, you don't go up onto the roof on a 2-story building every year. People do that. Well, maybe, every other year to clean the gutters if you are cleaning, but even then you're not walking on the roof, you're just standing on the ladder next to the gutters. It's very hard to predict something like this, and when real estate agents and real estate gurus teach you online, hey, this is a house, it's worth this much, it's gonna rent for this much and nothing will ever happens, we have solid tenants, you should buy it. An exit strategy and plan on something to go wrong, because something always goes wrong. There will be bats, there will be tornadoes, there will be tenants whose aunt died, who can't pay, everything that can happen will happen, and it's your job as a real estate investor to foresee that. You don't know what you don't know, but you can still plan on it happening. Not always we can call insurance because our rates will increase, and even if we do call insurance, they will say, well, yeah, you had to replace the roof, but it was almost at the end of a service life anyway, so we'll only give you, 15% of the roof value. So, and we'll jack up your rate. You used to pay $4,000 a month, now you'll be paying $8,000 a month. There you go. It's often cheaper to fix it out of pocket, and the only times we use insurance is when, the house burned down and you don't have a house anymore. That's where they come in and actually help. Can you prevent something like this from happening? It's really hard to. If you want to be a real estate investor, plan on having a little bit of a cushion, maybe 10% of the home value, 10% for 3 or 4 homes, set aside for emergency repairs. When it's vacant, you have to fix it. There are no tenants, you have to pay your mortgage, you have to pay your taxes, you have to pay your contractors. Because it will catch you, it will find you, and if you are not careful enough, if you're overspread, or if you're over leveraged, there is a good chance you might lose your real estate. And Well, it's a very expensive lesson to be taught. Thank you for watching this video. If you like my bad story, please share yours. I'd love to read that in the comments. And see you out there. Bye.